Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओम श्री मेधा दक्षिणामूर्ति स्वामिने नमः। ओम सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मां विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। Harihi Om. So, namaste once again, everyone. Please, now that the recording has started, you can mark your attendance now. Okay. Sadbrahma karyam sagalam sadaiva sanmatrametat natatonyadaste astiti yo bhakti natasya moha vinirgato nidritavat prajalpaha. So we are seeing the 68th shloka in our selection, which is the 232nd shloka as per the original Vivekachudamani. So in this portion, from verse number 66 to 73, that is in 8 verses, Shankaracharya is discussing 2 topics which are interconnected. The first topic is Brahman. It is defined and presented as the absolute reality. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, he says. And the second allied topic, which is under discussion towards the end of the last class we started, is that this world is mithya or unreal from the standpoint of Brahman. So we must always understand one thing. Whenever we say that this world is unreal, it is not an open-ended statement. It is a qualified statement, which means unreal from the standpoint of Brahman, which is the only absolute reality. That is how we have to understand. Otherwise, people say, how I am experiencing this world, how can you say this is unreal? The whole problem comes because of the definition of the world reality. How do we define what is real? In fact, if you ask someone what is real, everybody will have their own definition of reality. So therefore, we must understand whenever we are making any such statement, in what context we are making with relation to what we are making that statement, we must understand. For example, when we look at our face in the mirror, which is the reality? Is the reflection of our face a reality? If you say yes, that is because we are experiencing that. That is real. But someone will say, no, that is only a reflection. The real thing is the face, which is opposite the mirror, which is outside the mirror. What you are seeing in the mirror is only a reflection of this face. So this is the reality and the reflection in the mirror appears real because it is borrowing reality from this face. It is this face which is reflected in the mirror, lends reality to the image in the mirror. So you are considering that as real. So these are all very fine points, subtle points of Vedanta we need to bear in mind. Therefore, when we say the world is mithya or unreal, it is from the standpoint of Brahman. And the description of Brahman as Satyam, Jnanam and Anantam, as pure existence, pure consciousness and limitlessness, was the nature of Brahman, the Swarupa Lakshanam, as described in the Upanishad, especially the Taittiriya Upanishad mantra we saw. And when it is said that Brahman is Satyam, the only absolute reality, which means that it is the only Vastu in the entire universe which has got independent existence. And the seeming existence of all other objects in the universe is due to their borrowing existence from Brahman. The seeming reality of all other objects is due to their borrowing reality from Brahman. This face and mirror example is a very nice example. Because there also, what is real only is on the face. But what is reflected, that image appears to be real. Similarly, all the things in the world appear to be real because they are borrowing reality from Brahman. Even though there are many examples can be given for this, we know that it's a concept which is difficult to digest for most of us. Well, first of all, we have been always believed that what we are experiencing is the reality. The entire world is real. I can touch it, I can feel it. And suddenly the Upanishad come and say, for the first time we are being told that what we have believed all along is wrong, and that Brahman, which or whom we have never even seen or experienced, is the only absolute reality. This proposition seems very abstract and very far-fetched. And the Shastra recognizes this difficulty for us to believe, for us to take this statement on its face value. And therefore, Shastra, for making it easier for us to understand, we get introduced to the Tatastha Lakshanam of Brahman in this loka, in which Brahman is revealed in relation to the world, so that with the help of the world, by contrasting with it, we can try to capture or grasp what Brahman is. Thus, the Tatastha Lakshanam is given for the facility of our understanding. Only for that purpose, Shastra talks about this. Otherwise, the entire subject matter of the Upanishad is what? Moksha. How creation came, what created, and things like that and all, they are not very much relevant for that. But Shastra, being compassionate, says there are a lot of people who may not on the face of it accept this. So let me try to explain this in a different manner. So what is that relationship between Brahman and the world, the Jagat Prapancha that we are experiencing? That is being talked about. And while expounding the relationship between Brahman and the world, Upanishad says Brahman is the cause, Karanam, and the entire experienced universe is a Karyam, a product. So the source of the entire creation is Brahman. And how does this Brahman create this world? For that, the scriptures say that this Brahman possesses a creative power, which is called Maya Shakti. And with that power, the world is created. Then the Upanishads, they go on to make a statement, another statement rather, which sounds ridiculous at the first glance. It says that even though Brahman is the cause for the creation, Brahman itself does not do any action. Brahman is present, and in the mere presence of Brahman, Maya Shakti creates the world. Rather, the correct expression would be Maya Shakti projects the world with its Vikshepa Shakti, the projecting power. Brahman itself does not do any action in the creation because Brahman is incapable of doing any action. Now, all these things may be confusing, sound ridiculous. What is this Upanishads talking about? Projecting power. Brahman doesn't do anything, but Brahman has got a power which projects, all that kind of a thing. So we can understand this with the help of a small example. We can understand this whole process of creation with an example. Okay. Now, all of us have been to movie theaters to watch films, isn't it? Now, when we enter the movie hall, what all do we see? First of all, there are that hall dim lights are there right on the top, on the ceiling. We see a white screen, which is blank and sort of a dark, There is no image on the white screen. Then there are rows of seats and all, and then we look up at the back wall of the hall, up above the row of chairs, almost near the ceiling of the hall, we see two small holes. Sometimes four holes are also seen rather. And we ask, what is that, those holes? We are told that is the projector room from where the movie would be projected. So we become curious. We go and visit or enter the projector room. There we find that there are film reels which are loaded onto the projector. Of course, this example relates to those times before, today is all digital and things like that and all. Process remains the same, except that the medium has changed. Right? But this example I'm giving you relates to those previous times. Not so previous, even in our generation, 20 years ago and all, before all this digitization happened, this was the process. So there are rolls of films. We ask, what is that? See, there are rolls of films. What do you mean by that? Then they will pick up one roll and show us a strip of film. And that strip contains some 10, 15, individual films. The whole reel is loaded onto the projector. Now we look at each strip. We can't make out anything in that. Of course, we can see some color and things like that and all. Some vague images we can see, but we can't even know whether it is man or a woman or animal, what it is. some vague images we can see in that strip. Isn't it? If I'm going wrong somewhere, please stop me. Huh? So, if we observe, the film reels consist of a series of such small films where the movie images have been recorded already. And these films are so small, I mean, we used to get 8 mm, 16 mm, 35 mm, etc. The size of these small films. Because of the very small size, we cannot see the images in the film without the help of the projector mechanism. Now, before the movie starts, the projector is switched on. And the projector has got a light. And the light passes through that lens or whatever of the projector, and then it lights up the whole screen, which was dark when we entered. At that time, there is no image on the screen. Just the screen which was dark is fully lighted up. We can say that light pervades that entire screen. Then what happens? Then the film roll which has been loaded, each film is projected onto the screen, and we are able to see the images very clearly, which was there in the tiny film, rather in the projector room. Now we see that the tiny film, when the light shines through that, it becomes a 35 mm screen or even 70 mm screen, and all the big screen, all images very clearly we can see. And in fact, when the movie runs, the whole thing, action is taking place, and people are interacting with each other. Each face becomes very, very, I mean, recognizable. The movie exactly looks like our world. Now, let us see. Question is the movie real or not? First question. Since we are experiencing the movie, we should say movie is real. Okay, we will accept movie is real. What is the most important component in the projector for us to see the images or even the running movie? The obvious answer is the light of the projector. Everything else may be working. The projector may be running, the films are loaded and they are passing through the lens. Everything is there. But we can't see any image on the screen without the light. So the images will remain in an unmanifest form without that light. So if we make a comparison for the sake of our understanding the process of creation, the projector light, we can compare it to Brahman, which is all pervading the screen, which is independent of the film or even the entire projection mechanism. The light is not tainted by the images which it helps to project. Even when the images are not there, the light will be seen, spread all over the screen, pervading the entire screen. Then we can compare the tiny film, that 8 mm, 16 mm, 35 mm film, to the unmanifest universe, which is in a seed form. Undifferentiated form, which we cannot see. All the images are there, but we cannot differentiate them. And the power of the projector itself can be compared to Maya Shakti. Therefore, Maya Shakti, the projector, projects the film on the blank screen, which we are able to experience only when the light is present. The light itself does not do the act of projection. But in its mere presence alone, we are able to experience the entire world projected by the projector. This is how we need to understand how can, Brahman not do anything. The light does not do anything. But without the light, we cannot experience the world. Of course, like every example, this example also has its shortcomings. But it is useful to the extent of understanding the process of creation involving Brahman, Maya, Shakti, and manifestation of the universe which we experience. And there is one more point we need to note. When we talk about creation and Brahman as the creator, etc., we must understand there is no actual creation taking place, no fresh creation taking place. At the end of every yuga cycle, the creation goes from manifest state to unmanifest state and is always present in a seed form. Then at the beginning of the new creation cycle, Brahman blesses this unmanifest creation and as though creates the universe which is projected with the help of Maya Shakti. So when we talk of the creation and also the role of Brahman, we have to understand all these aspects. And if you ask, when did for the first time this creation happened? Shastra says nobody knows. It is Anadhi. This creation is been there, this process of this so-called creation, which is going from unmanifest to manifest, has been going on from beginningless time. So we don't know. Nobody can put a stamp. This is the first time, first second of this creation. Nobody can say. Even the scientists say we know the Big Bang. They call it, the starting of the creation is the Big Bang. But what existed before the Big Bang, they don't know. They don't even know that the whole thing was in seed form before the Big Bang. So all these things we must understand when we talk about Brahman, its relationship with the world, etc. And from Brahman at the time of creation, governed by the inbuilt law of karma, which is operational in Maya, the universe evolves, or we can say manifests. And that is why Shastra says Brahman does not do anything. In its presence, Maya gets elaborated and projected or thrown out in the form of all names, forms, and functions. And we get this understanding how from a Brihadaranyaka Upanishad Vakya. It says Tad Vedam Tarha Vyakritamasid Tannama Rupabhyameva Vyakriyatasau Namayamida Rupa iti Tad idam apyetarhi Nama Rupabhyam eva Vyakriyate sau Namayamida Rupa iti. So he says that from that Brahman, all this entire universe, Nama Rupabhyam eva, names and forms, they get projected. Thus, from the creative power of Brahman, the whole universe gets projected. Therefore, the world is thus a projection. Another example, world is projection like what? Like our dream. Is dream real or unreal? Question we have to ask. Every one of us would experience dream, isn't it? Sometime or the other. Sometimes the dreams are so wonderful, they don't feel like waking up. That's why early morning dreams, very nice dreams sometimes we have. Of course, there are some nightmares also. But most people, I mean, probably it is my own guess. People find it difficult to wake up because they're enjoying a beautiful dream. So whether the dream is real or unreal, as we have discussed, for a dreamer, in dream, the dream world appears real and existent. The dream world appears real as long as we are in the spell of nidra, sleep, the dreamy sleep. The moment we wake up, the so-called real dream, the so-called existent dream loses both its existence and its reality. The existence and reality are synonymous. Therefore, if you analyze a little more, it is the waker alone projects the dream world. The waker gives existence to the dream world. The waker gives reality to the dream world temporarily with his Nidra Shakti. But the moment he wakes up, when the Nidra Shakti's spell is gone, he understands that the dream appeared real only with borrowed reality. The dream world does not have intrinsic reality. Therefore, another word is used, mithya. So, mithya is that which appears real as long as the spell is there. Not only it appears real, but the dream world has also got experienceability, transactability, and utility. As Swami Paramathananda beautifully says, ETU. Because normally, this is the test we give to see whether something is real or not. When you say, what do you mean by real? A thing or an object which has experienceability, transactability, and utility, we can call it real. ETU, if object possesses ETU, it is real. And Vedanta extends dream analogy to creation also. Brahman is like a super waker. The ordinary waker projects the dream world. Super waker Brahman projects the super dream world called the Jagrat Prapancha. In our sleep, what we have is a regular dream, but this world which we are experiencing is like a super dream, which appears real, borrowing reality and existence from Brahman, just as the dream world borrows its existence and reality from me, the waker. And not only that this world appears real to us, it has also got experienceability, transactability, and utility. Like I am seeing or experiencing the laptop, it has got transactability. I can use the laptop and transact through it. So it has got a utility. It carries my talk to all of you. And because of this, we conclude that the Jagrat Prapancha is real. Vedanta says, I don't deny, these are all real, but without own reality. They don't have possess independent existence, independent reality. They are all real only with borrowed reality. Like when we see on a Paurnami day, the moon is bright. Or we just say, oh, beautiful moon, bright moon. Poets will write poem after poem about the bright moon. How the beautiful light is there, enlightening the whole world, blah, blah, blah. But the brightness of the moon, is it own brightness? It is a brightness borrowed from the sun. It's a borrowed brightness. Moon itself does not have any brightness. So too, the world is real because Brahman has donated reality and existence to the world. Brahman is the super waker with Maya Shakti. And that is why, in order to not confuse, we use different grades of reality now. Different terminologies are used. Brahman, we call it Paramarthika Satyam. The world, we call it Vyavaharika Satyam. And the dream world, we call it, sometimes words don't come,
Pratibhasika
Pratibhasika
Satyam.
Satyam. Pratibhasika Satyam. Subjective reality. Because again, the difference you must, understand. Dream world is real only for the dreamer. I can see my dream only. I cannot share my dream with anybody else. So the dream world is real only for me. It is not real for anybody else. Whereas the world is real for all people who are ignorant, which most of us are. 99.9% of the world is ignorant of what is reality. So whatever they see, which is ETU, they take it as reality. It is only the 0.1%, the Jnani, knows the truth, that there is only Brahman, which is the only reality. This world also is an appearance, like the dream world was an appearance. Just because it is the same thing is experienced by large number of people, it does not make it reality. So Brahman is the super waker with Maya Shakti. And therefore the Acharya says here, Sadbrahma Karyam Sakalam. The word Sakalam refers to the entire universe consisting of infinite names, forms, and functions. Just as the scientists talk about proton, electron, neutron, etc., which all exist in different configuration to become different elements. Each element has got a name. It has got its own configuration, its own function. And all these configurations are dismantleable. You can keep on changing, dismantling them. And after a particular stage, you will not be able to see anything. That is if you go inquire into the reality of the universe, you will eventually come to the state that there is no universe. And Shankaracharya uses the word Sat to indicate that Brahman has got its own existence. Sadrupam Brahman. And not only to convey this message, Shankaracharya also wants to connect the message with a few Upanishads. Because all these are all not Shankaracharya's own theory. They're all from the Upanishad they have been taken. As we have discussed right in the beginning of our classes itself, all these texts like Vivekachudamani, Tattva-bodhaya, they are all called Prakarana Granthas. It means these texts are written by various Acharyas by extracting the teaching from the Upanishads. Upanishad is the primary source. We can even say Bhagavad Gita is a kind of a Prakarana Grantha only, falling within the category of Smriti Granthas. Every message in the Bhagavad Gita is borrowed from the Upanishads. For that matter, even Brahma Sutra is another type of Prakarana Grantha only, because that is also extracted from the Upanishad only. Therefore, when we come to Vedanta study, we have to initially start with Prakarana Grantha, like Vivekachudamani, Tattva-bodha, there are so many others are also, Atma-bodha. And thereafter, we have to move up and study a few more Upanishads, because that is the original source. The difficulty with Upanishad is that the teaching will not be presented as orderly, in an orderly manner as it is presented in the Prakarana Grantha. But once you have actually assimilated the knowledge from the Prakarana Grantha, then you can study the Upanishads for finer details, further inquiry into so many questions that you may have. And therefore, what happens after studying the Upanishads, the original, we have to again revert to study Prakarana Granthas. Because even the Prakarana Granthas are of different levels. As I told you, Tattva-bodha is a very, very preliminary, very easy to follow Prakarana Grantha. Whereas Vivekachudamani also is a Prakarana Grantha, but it is for more mature students who have actually gone through Tattva-bodha, understood the whole structure of the message of the Upanishads, and then want to go a little more into detail. Vivekachudamani is such a Prakarana Grantha. So, Prakarana Grantha to Upanishads, back to Prakarana Grantha, this has to go on. Secondary Pramanam to primary Pramanam to secondary Pramanam again. And as even we do that, more and more clarity comes. And that is why Vedanta study requires consistent and systematic study for a length of time. First of all, there should be a commitment for the pursuit. Merely saying I have got commitment doesn't mean anything. They are mere words. Commitment must be shown in action. A person should consistently be thinking about what we have learned. Sometimes you have to attend daily classes to learn. Because our memories and or what they are, being what they are, what we have learned this week, next week, we may not even remember. Unless, of course, we have revised during the course of the week. Vedanta is not a crash program. If we want to receive the teaching and transform our life. If we are only interested in getting some ideas or catchy phrases to quote during management meetings, seminars, or even chatting with friends, just to show that we have also studied Bhagavad Gita, we can quote Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana, etc., etc. So if it is for that purpose, quoting purposes, if I study, it's a different matter. But if I am a serious seeker of moksha, And my aim is not just impressing others by some quotations. If my aim is grasping, remembering, assimilating, and transforming my life from a struggling samsari to a free jivan mukta, that requires considerable effort. Of course, this is not only true for Vedanta, it is true for any significant achievement anybody does in any field. Anything you want to become proficient in requires a lot of effort. If we have to be perfect, serious effort is required. And therefore, Shankaracharya wants to remind us of Chandogya Shashtadhyaya also. There, Brahman is defined as Sadeva Saumya Idamagram Asir Ekam Eva Advitiyam. Ekameva Advitiyam, the only one, unique one, without a second, without varieties of names, forms, and function. It is that Brahman, that Sat, which was there before this entire creation started, the only thing which was there. Idam Agra Asit. That Sat Brahma Karyam Sakalam Bhavati. From that Sat Brahma, Sakalam, everything is born. Then the next sentence, Sadaiva Sanmatra Metat na Tatonya Dasti. Sadaiva, Sadaeva. Sadaeva means always, in all three periods of time. Sanmatra Metat. The entire universe is nothing but Karanam Brahma alone, which is the real content. The entire experienceable world, experienced world, is nothing but superficial name, form, and function only. Just as the ornaments are nothing but name, form, and function, the real content being gold. Because we use the word bangle or chain or necklace, etc., or what that, ring. We should not think that all these things have got their own content. Content is gold only. If you remove the gold from all the ornament, they will not exist. Similarly, if you remove Brahman from the world cannot exist. Therefore, Satmatram etad. Satmatram means Sat is the name of Brahman. The whole world is nothing but Brahman alone with different names and forms. Just as the world of ornaments is nothing but one gold with many names, forms, and functions. Tataha anyat na asti. Therefore, other than Brahman, world does not exist. And when Shankaracharya says, certainly many eyebrows will go up. What is he talking? I see the laptop, I see a wall, I see numerous objects. So when I experience everything as existent, how does Shankaracharya dare say the world is not existent? What you have to understand is that what the Acharya is saying, that the world is existence, there is no question, but the existence of the world is not its independent existence, it is a borrowed existence. Existence is on the world, but not of the world. It is like, I don't deny the moon is bright, but the brightness does not belong to the moon. The brightness is on the moon, not of the moon. That we must very clearly understand. Thus, the jnani is one who understands the easiness in everything is Brahman. Whenever I say, this is a laptop, this is a flask, this is a table, this is a chair, that is, which we are using, that easiness refers to the existence which is Brahman. Shankaracharya says beautifully in Dakshinamurti Stotram, Yasyaiva spuranam sadatmakam asatkalpartakam bhasate. Profound Stotram, Dakshinamurti, Saptamurti Stotram, full Vedanta only. Beautiful Stotram. And this is the vision of a jnani. A jnani experiences Brahman in every object of the world as the easiness. Just as the wise man experiences sunlight in the form of light on the moon on a Paurnami night. Everybody will say, oh, moonlight, moonlight, so bright. Wise man will say, moonlight, moonlight, so bright. But in his mind, he is clear that he is experiencing not the moonlight, but sunlight, which is on the moon. Therefore, for a jnani, Jagat Anubhava is Brahma Anubhava. Because some people have got, a feeling that this entire Vedanta is all about, first you learn theory, then you have to have practical. So, okay, Brahman and all that you see, then go into meditation and experience Brahman. Brahma Sakshatkaram should happen. That is how you become jnani. Let me clarify, there is nothing called Brahma Sakshatkaram. Jagat Sakshatkaram is Brahma Sakshatkaram. Jagat Anubhava is Brahma Anubhava. It is Brahman which we are experiencing in and through every object of the world. This we must very clearly understand. That's why Kenopanishad says, Pratibodha Viditam Matham. We do not need to make any separate effort to experience Brahman. The very easiness in every object belongs to Brahman only. So based on all these things, now let us extend, rather go a little bit further and say, the existence that we experience in the world has got 5 features. This 5-feature business is a very favorite topic of Swami Paramarthananda. And in fact, all of us should be very grateful to him for making things so simple for us to understand the Upanishads. And that's why he brings these 5 features whenever we talk about Brahman, whether it is in the form of consciousness, whether in the cause of happiness also we saw 5 featured happiness, and here existence also the 5 features apply. So at the cost of repetition, I will recount them. Existence is not a path, product or property of any anatma, any object. Existence is an independent spiritual principle which pervades all nama rupa karma and lends existence to them. Whenever we say the table is, the chair is, the isness represents existence. In Bhagavad Gita's second chapter, 16th shloka, Krishna says, Nasato vidyate bhavaha, na bhavo vidyate satah. There is no existence for the unreal. There is no non-existence for the real. We have seen this, Bhagavad Gita students, we have seen this in detail when we saw the second chapter. And in his Gita Bhashyam, Adi Shankara brilliantly brings out this message. And the next point is existence is not limited by the boundaries of any particular Nama Rupa. Beyond the table, beyond the chair, there is also isness. Even when we say there is nothing under the table, we still say there is nothing. Isness is still there. We still use the word is. And that is what existence. So existence is all pervading, like consciousness. Existence will continue to exist even after every Nama Rupa is resolved. Like in deep sleep state. All names, forms are resolved, but existence continues to be there. Rahugrasta divakarendu sadrusho maya samachadhanat. Adi Shankara again says in Dakshinamurti Shloka, during sleep, you are pure existence only. Even consciousness is not manifest because mind is resolved. And therefore only, without knowing or claiming, I am not able to say I am existence, I exist, but I am pure existence in sleep. Sanmatra karanopasamharanati yo bhut sushupta puman. So existence is eternal. This was the fourth point. Then the fifth point, like in the case of consciousness and happiness, pure existence without nama, rupa, karma, without name, form, and function is not transactable. Because of the absence of nama, rupa, karma. Because of pure existence, like pure consciousness. So pure existence is pure consciousness is pure happiness. They are all different ways we are seeing one Vastu Brahman. And that's why we say, we have to, if we want experience of Brahman, experience of Atma can be only through Anatma. If Anatma is not there, we cannot experience Atma. And that's why Brahman is called Satchitananda. Satchitananda is a very profound word. This word Satchitananda is used to define God or Brahman. You will find this Nama in every Ashtotra. Satchitananda is Brahman. In fact, there are many classic Carnatic music, composers who have understood what the reality is. They have sung, they have made compositions on Satchidananda. Therefore, the absolute reality is Satchidananda. The empirical world is Asat, Achit, and Anananda. But the glory of the world is what? It can reflect Satchidananda. If that was not there, we would never be having all these, teachings would not have been there, all this knowledge would not have been there. It is able to, whole world is able to reflect either one or all three of them. The inanimate world can reflect Sat and Ananta also. A live body, sentient body, mind, sense complex can reflect Sat and Chit. Karana Shariram can reflect Sat, Chit and Ananda. I hope you're all following all these things. It's all, as I told you in the last class, these are very heavy teachings. But this is the core of the entire Vedanta teaching. So now look at the stoka, tata anyatna asti. Apart from Brahman, there is nothing else existing. I should again repeat that Shankaracharya, when he says the world is non-existent, he doesn't literally mean that the world is non-existent. What he means is world exists, which existence is borrowed from Brahman. That the world does not have an independent existence. Asti iti yaha bhakti. Whoever says the world has got its own independent existence, tasya moha na vinirgataha. That person is still not out of moha, the spell of Maya. The Maya spell, its avarana shakti, the wheeling power, makes one conclude that the world has got independent existence. Just as a dreamer in dream concludes that the dream world has got independent existence. You have to be very highly imaginative to visualize a dream dialogue. Imagine there is a dialogue between a dreamer in dream and another dream member. They discuss whether the world outside exists independently or not. One is Advaita Jnani and other is an Ajnani. The Ajnani will vehemently argue that the dream world is real. He will give the logic also. It is ETU logic, experienceability, transactability, and utility. He says it gives me joy, it gives me sorrow. So the dream world is solid and it is independently existent. The Advaita Jnani will say, it is not so. My dear, you wake up and as a waker, you look at the dream. Then you will understand the reality of the dream world. You will understand that it was just your projection. You lent it existence. You gave reality to the dream. After waking up, you yourself treat the dream as unreal only. Many times we say, oh my God, I saw such a dream. It all looks so real. Which means what? We are implying that it was not real, but it looked real, isn't it? There we are able to accept the unreality of the dream world. And therefore, you can declare that the dream world is unreal only after waking up. Similarly, as long as the spell of Maya is there, we will insist the world is independently existent. But when we become super veka, when we wake up from the dream, we are a veka. And when we get out of the spell of Maya by gaining jnanam, we become super veka. So for a super waker jnani, world is existent. But he clearly understands that the existence is given by me, the super waker. The only difference is when you become a waker from a regular dream, the dream world disappears. Not only you get out of the spell of Nidra the moment you wake up, the dream world also simultaneously disappears. But here, when you have spiritual awakening, when you get out of the spell of Maya, this world won't disappear. It will continue to exist. Even so, you will understand that I am not an ordinary waker. I am a super waker. I alone lend existence to the world. I alone lend reality to the world. I am the only reality. Mayeva sakalam jatam. Mayi sarvam pratishtitam. Mayi sarvam layam yati. Tad brahma advayam asmi aham. Kaivalyo Upanishad. Okay, we'll continue in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Dhanyavadaha. Thank you all very much.
धन्यवाद रघुजी.
Namaskaram, Guruji.
Thank you.
Namaskaram, Guruji. Thank you very
Hari Om
much.
Guruji. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji. Namaskaram.
Namaskaram. Yes, Hariji, I think, has got a question. Stay.
The fifth point, the 5 points. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
The fifth point is that it is absolutely non-transactable.
Mm.
Can you, and I didn't get that point. Can you kindly one more time explain?
Non-transactable means it cannot do, Brahman cannot do anything on its own. It cannot carry out any transactions.
Okay. Okay.
Because Brahman is all pervading, actually there is no space for doing. For doing any transaction, we need space, correct?
Yeah.
Suppose I want to just touch my face. There should be space so that I can bring my hand. Suppose something is blocking, can I touch my face? I cannot, right? So whenever we do any action, any transaction, we require space.
Yeah.
But Brahman is itself all pervading. Every space is occupied by Brahman. So it cannot do any transaction. There is no space for it to do transaction.
Okay.
That is a logical reason we have to understand. But Shastric reason says Brahman does not do any transaction. In its existence, all transaction takes place. In its presence, all transactions take place. It blesses all transaction, but it itself cannot do any transaction.
It is only a witness.
Sorry?
It is only a witness.
It's only a witness. So we talked about consciousness, we talked about happiness, now we are talking about existence, all three, Sat Chit Ananda we are talking.
Okay. Okay.
That's what. Yeah?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Hari Om. Anything else?
Guruji, can you please define Maya?
Shakti, power of Brahman.
Yeah, it has got Vikshepa Shakti and Avarana Shakti.
Yes.
And majority of the people are under the spell of Avarana Shakti.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So when the Jnanam comes...
Yeah, that is what, when the Vikshepa Shakti world is projected, we are not able to clearly understand what is the reality of the world because of the Avarana Shakti. See,
Okay.
the best example is a magic show. When the magician, he does do this. This is what, that is why magic show is called what? Maya Jalam.
Correct.
In magic show, what he does, he projects something which in our back of the mind, we may know it is not real.
Correct.
But he covers this thing and he makes us see that as if it is real.
Correct.
And we react to it as if it is. He cuts one body into two. Oh my God. We all know that it is all a show, right? There's no
Yes.
reality. But still, when we are in the magic show, we all tend to take it to be real. So we
We
can
are
have,
able to,
in fact, there's so many examples if you think how this Avarana Shakti we are misled to believe what is not true as true.
agree.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's why it's called Mahamayavine Namaha.
Yeah. One of the powers of the cosmic powers it is. So many powers are there. One of the powers, Maya. Most important power. Okay, any other question? Yes.
But elsewhere we have also learned that Brahman plus Maya is Ishvara, is it not?
Yeah. See, what is Ishvara? Ishvara is a name and form given to Brahman.
Ah,
And the name and form comes from Maya.
okay.
Actually, Brahman and Maya are not two separate entities. If you say they are two separate entities, we get into Dvaitam.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
So Maya is nothing but a power of Brahman, that's all. Brahman and Maya are one only.
Okay.
For
Okay.
understanding purposes, we show the entity as separate and the power as separate.
Okay.
And that both put together, we say Ishvara, because when we say Ishvara, we are actually referring to a name and form, right?
Yeah.
Whereas Brahman is without name and form. That is why we say we can actually worship God either as a single form or as the word or as even Brahman. Right? You can have Eka Rupa Bhakti, Aneka Rupa Bhakti or Arupa Bhakti. So we can worship Bhagavan in any form or
Okay.
even without form.
Okay.
A Jnani worships, Jnani's Bhakti is Arupa Bhakti. He directly worships Brahman, which is the all-pervading, all-powerful Vastu in the world. That's all.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Right, then I think no more questions are there. I'll close the session and see you all next week. Okay.
Thank you, Guruji. Pranam.
Hari Om.
Oh, Hari Om.
Thank you.
Good night, Hari Om.
Good night. Thank you.
Thank you.